Beastly for the Nintendo Wii. Well, apparently this is based off of some movie, so I guess we better go and watch that first, right?
And it's nice to finally meet you after 3 years. Blink for I know. And obviously not what I...
No, that's not what I meant. It just came out that way. So did it come out because
Alright, well that was about as bad as I thought it was gonna be. So what we have here, apparently, is some modern-day remake of Beauty and the Beast, which takes place in some super sexy high school for the elite, and follows the story of a self-absorbed, pompous, rich asshole named Kyle. Kyle likes to get his jollies from ripping on the ugly kids. That is, until a do-goodery goth girl, who also happens to be a witch, comes along and puts a curse on his ass, turning him into a hideous monster man. Kyle then has like a year or so to trick a chick into falling in love with him in order to lift the curse, or else he'll stay this way forever. It's a tale as old as time. Well, at any rate, I do have to say, I'm eternally interested to find out how this movie could have been possibly turned into a game, so enough talk, let's just dive on in. Alright, so I guess you can select between either a male or female character, and I guess you just play as a random student who never actually appeared in the movies. And right off the bat, I am just bombarded by badness. Oh my god, these controls are fucking awful. Beastly, even. In order to move, you use your motion sensor as your directional, and you hold down the B trigger to walk. Okay, it's not as bad as I let on, but I mean, it's still annoying. I guess they designed it in a way that could be playable without the nunchuck, which sports a joystick, but I mean, come on, let's be real here. If you own a Wii, you probably own a nunchuck. It's the most basic peripheral there is for the Wiimote, and so many games on the system require you to own one anyway, so why not this one more? Anyway, guide your anonymous student through the game by following the green arrows and performing extremely menial tasks and minigames, which both serve to progress the story and also awards you with collectibles such as photos and movie clips. Hooray. Sometimes new students are added to your contacts list, and they'll send you messages, which you sometimes have the option to reply to. You can either choose to say something positive or negative. However, unlike most games that use this sort of dialogue tree device, it doesn't seem to matter what you say. So I'm just going to be snarky. I'm a snarky character. You can also use this menu to pick a color scheme so you can super personalize the experience. And what an extremely linear experience it is. Like I said before, in between walking from one point to another, all you basically do is play mini-games and perform menial tasks. Like, for example, signing up students for this trip to Machu Picchu. Just wander around talking to random students until 10 of them say, "Hey, cool, I'll go." The minigames are a little bit more fun, like here you have to knock down the anti-Kyle signs while he's delivering some awful, ostentatious campaign speech for the prestigious title of class president.
What you gotta ask yourselves is, should you vote for me just because I'm the rich, popular, good-looking guy with the famous news anchor dad? And the answer is, hell yeah!
And then here you have to trash the bad ballots and then file the good ones in their respective boxes. Okay, I didn't say the minigames are fun, I just said they were a little more fun than performing menial tasks. And you know, this Kyle kid wins, but based off of how many bad ballots and anti-Kyle signs I see out there, I'm thinking this election must have been rigged. Probably by the Russians, if I had to guess. Afterwards, you need to enter the club for the Green Party. And wow, they really went all out. They had like custom neon signs made up and mounted on the side of this club. I guess spare no expense for the 2011 class president of super sexy high-class high school. And I know that saying a phrase like super sexy high school makes me sound kind of creepy, but there's like glass walls everywhere, marble floors, crazy expensive couches and bamboo. I'm sorry, but everyone's fucking hot as hell and dressed like $1 million. Like even Kendra, who's supposed to be like the ugly, weird goth girl, is pretty hot. I mean, I guess I think goth girls in general are pretty hot to begin with, but that's just me. And even from an unbiased opinion, this weirdo Queen of Darkness ain't a bad-looking gal. Anyway, where the fuck was I? Oh yeah, the club. Oh, and this is a real fun part of the game, by the way. Start by talking to the bouncer, being told no, get in line. You wait. Success. Now keep waiting. Success. Get frustrated both in-game and in real life, try to get in again, be told no again by the bouncer, and that you need to get yourself an invite, which is something he might have mentioned before. Wander around begging other random people in line for an invitation. They all laugh at you, but I mean, they're probably standing in line because they don't have a fucking invitation either, right? Inevitably end up back at the school, which I guess is just open at all hours, and complete a random task for Kyle's lackey in order to finally receive an official invitation. Ugh. So I guess he wants you to stick a secret note in Kyle's girlfriend's locker. Probably trying to move in on that. Kyle catches you there and confronts you accordingly. What? Why am I on her locker? That's a good question. Why am I on her locker? What was I, just climbing up on top of the fucking thing like a fucking lizard to deposit my letter? And then you head back to that club that apparently hosts high schoolers and is clearly serving them alcohol. Take pictures by clicking A in 5 randomly designated areas and play a dancing minigame. What the fuck is going on here? How am I missing all of these? And how'd I get that one? I swear to God, I hit a completely different button. Oh. Okay. You have to reorientate the controller sideways like they have on the screen. Like, I know it's there on the screen, but I'm sorry, it could have been made a little more clear. I just don't play enough Wii. It's not intuitive to me. Afterwards, you conjure up a hex, I guess playing from Kendra's perspective now, which turns Kyle into a hideous scar monster, and then Kyle just sort of vanishes from the public. He leaves everyone a semi-cryptic social media message stating that he had to attend a rehab facility located overseas, thus explaining away his sudden and abrupt absence. His fellow peers question this very loose explanation, as they're right to do, given he's a fucking high schooler attending a rehab facility overseas. Which hardly makes sense. I don't know. Not at my high school, at least. And what the fuck? Am I on drugs? There's supposed to be a person here with just a floating explanation point. I think I deserve a fucking explanation. That just turned out to be a glitch and I had to reset the game. Alright, so Kyle's missing and you miss him or whatever, so it's time for you to mount a motorbike and speed off into the night. Maybe if I can figure out how to steer the damn thing. Oh, okay. Yeah, I should know better by now. You have to hold the controller sideways again, and then you tilt it back like you're opening up the throttle, which is actually kind of cool. This is where the Wii shines. Again, it would have been nice to have had that explained to me. Anyway, blaze your way through the city, blowing red lights and avoiding mad potholes. Fuck, seriously. These roads are atrocious. If you manage to survive, then you arrive at Kyle's house and talk to his tutor, who creepily asks you, a high schooler, to join him, an adult, at the club for a round of darts in exchange for secrets. Somebody call Chris Hansen. And oh god, clearly he spiked your drink, because that hand holding these darts is bobbling around like a fucking weeble wobble. And then after learning virtually nothing from Will, except you should probably keep an eye on that guy, you get to attend a Halloween party where you get to play a claw machine, which is just as fucking frustrating as the real fucking thing. Afterwards, the game half-assedly explains, but also doesn't really explain at all, the scene from the movie where Liddy's dad, she's the girl from the club by the way, who is also running against Kyle for class president, where Liddy's dad is a drug addict and his dealer has him and Liddy both at gunpoint over a discrepancy concerning money. And then Kyle, who is now going by the name Hunter, sort of just swoops in and saves the day like fucking Batman. And then she ends up living at Kyle's place and hiding from the drug dealers, but she doesn't recognize him, she just knows him as Hunter, and he's trying to get her to fall in love with him so as to cure up his uglies by lifting the curse. Anyway, after being shooed away by some extremely generic cops, move along now, I'll get donuts. You sneak on into the alleyway where aforementioned shit went down and investigate the scene via one of those I Spy hidden shit in the scenery kind of games. Find the gun, find the this, find the that. By the way, I love that the solution for find the money is just a coin spill of some pocket change. What was this guy snorting? Crushed up gumballs? That's not drug dealer money. Then sneak into a zoo, for some reason, by scaling the wall. Oh my god, scale the fucking wall! Seriously. These are the most unfun fucking minigames. I hate them. Then you walk down this endless fucking path and learn about animal facts. Yeah. You walk like 1,000 goddamn miles, and you learn about animal facts. Rhinos have skin that can grow up to 2 inches thick. Kind of interesting, but also I don't give a shit. Alright, finally, the end. What the fuck? I'm gonna get quizzed now? Oh, how goddamn fun. And you know I just blew through half of those facts without even reading them. Afterwards, you end up back at the school with like zero information connecting us as to why we're here now, having just broken into a zoo at night, or why we were even at the zoo in the first place. You look around for Liddy and everyone says the same shit. She hasn't been in school for ages. I don't know, she hasn't been in school for ages. She hasn't been in school for ages. and then you go looking for her at Kyle/Hunter's apartment. Run into that weirdo Will instead, who wants you to hit golf balls off the roof with him, and then after your unsuccessful attempt to find Liddy, you catch a plane to Machu Picchu, which is just another long-ass hike where you wander around learning more facts. When the fuck did this become an educational game? Afterwards, the teacher quizzes you, which I knew was coming this time, and then has you wandering around taking more photos. And then he provides you with ancient drawings and asks you to identify the differences between said ancient drawings and your modern-day photos. Oh, that bush isn't there anymore? What a fucking surprise! And then the game just sort of ends. What? Are you fucking kidding me? I swear, it just suddenly ends. Like right after you complete that last minigame of like identifying the differences in the pictures. Like they barely abided by or even explained any of the story or characters to begin with, and then by the end they sort of just give up and completely drop everything. Like complete convolution the entire time, and then zero resolution whatsoever by the end. So, just in case you haven't suffered through the film, but you've somehow been able to follow this chopped up fuck heap of a story that the game doltishly delivers us, Ugly Kyle has won over the heart of what was once his avid adversary, Liddy, who he made bang eyes with a couple of times after the elections. Liddy's father... does he die? I think he dies, but I don't feel like looking it up to confirm anything. Maybe he doesn't. Whatever, he's in the hospital or something, and then she wants to go on the Machu Picchu trip, so she goes on the Machu Picchu trip, but then Kyle shows up right before she boards the plane and says, no, I love you, and she gives him a big sloppy smooch and says, I love you too, and then the curse is broken. But not a bit of that shit is even close to explained in this game, and you want to know something really amazing? I actually did look up afterwards what happened at the end, and according to Wikipedia, there's actually an alternate ending to the movie where Kyle gets shot by a drug dealer, and then she confesses her love while he dies in Liddy's arms, thus breaking the curse and being ultimately a little more relative to the actual story of Beauty and the Beast. Which was scrapped in the real movie, but used instead in the Nintendo Wii remake of the story. What? No, it fucking wasn't! Alright, so with this new knowledge, let's try to retrace that storyline. Kyle goes and disappears. You go investigating the crime scene of what was to your character a completely random and unrelated homicide. You discover some shit like lipstick, a gun, and some pocket change. You sneak into a zoo. A cop quizzes you about animals before kicking you out. You find out Liddy is missing, and so you check for her at Kyle's apartment on what I guess was just a complete and random whim. End up driving golf balls with Will, who tells you absolutely nothing, and then you surmise that Kyle must have been murdered by a drug dealer in front of Liddy, who is still fucking missing. So what do? You say, fuck it, I don't know, I'm gonna go on a trip to Machu Picchu. Okay, even if for some insane fucking reason you were able to piece all of that together on your own, it is all completely shattered by the fact that the game does give you this one final ending clip of Kyle, completely cured, kissing Liddy at graduation. So they're both fine. And you know what's crazy? They didn't even bother to explain that the curse was lifted. They just completely leapt over the bridge of him being cursed to him being cured by Liddy's kiss. And you know what the cherry on top of this fucking sundae is? Kyle has the nerve to give Kendra an attitude. So he didn't learn shit. He's still a self-absorbed jackass. So that's it. Beastly for the Nintendo Wii. It's the perfect balance of, like, playable, but terrible. Horrible, but tolerable. Like, the minigames suck just not enough to keep you just barely preoccupied and plugging along. The storyline is there, but also isn't. You know what? I like the idea of video games having an alternative ending to their big screen or small screen counterparts. That's a cool idea. It's just in here, it was not executed well at all. Not in the least. I don't know what else to say. I mean, you saw it. I guess in conclusion, I would say that Machu Picchu was founded in 1450 AD and has one less bush today than it had several hundred years ago. Yeah, that about sums it up.